Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas. I'm not feeling on top form today. I wasn't going to record, but I decided to. So we are about to play our 5th session of Daggerheart. We are using our solo guides that we have produced that you can grab off of Drive Thru, the Heart Guide and Solo in Sablewood, and we are following the story of Fern, the Fawn Ranger, as they explore the Sablewoods and go off adventuring and following their heart with their companion Wolf, a wolf cub that Fern has grown up with and is Fern's companion. So, where did we leave Fern? We left Fern at the top of a spire after Fern had defeated a construct that had taken the spire keeper captive. The fire, due to all of our random rolls, had just gone out. And Fern had just defeated the construct. We left Fern just having defeated the construct. Wolf took all of its stress and so had basically gone off to hide in a corner. And Fern is in the state of recovering. So there are several things that we need to find out to be able to continue the story. I won't recap because you could watch the other ones, but basically the Whitefire arc, we followed the end of the starter adventure, which suggests there's something wrong with the spire to the west, and we pursued through the Sablewood to try and find out what that was. So, Fern has taken a bit of a battering. We can't do the hour's healing yet because that will take an hour. So several things. I think the first thing, these are old counters from when I used to play one-page rules. They're the melee counters. I couldn't bother popping them out, but we'll use those as fear for now because I've got a little bag of those that I wasn't going to take into the stuff to take to Belgium, and so we might as well use those. I might take them across in baggage because they're quite light and they might work as counters for things like fear tokens and stuff. So that's fear. We carried over 4 fear from last session. So we will have, what will Fern do? Fern will probably go over to Wolf first and make sure that Wolf is okay. So Fern's going to go over and make sure, Wolf, are you all right? And bring Wolf over. Wolf will stay quite, Wolf is quite injured, shocked injured. So how it works with your companion is that your companion, when they've taken all of their stress, basically leaves the scene. They exit the scene stage right and they won't return until you have taken a long rest, and when they return, they'll return with 1 stress. They return with 1 stress cleared. So they've got, Wolf has 3 stress, so Wolf would return with 2 stress. Or, when you choose a downtime move that relieves stress, you relieve the equivalent amount of stress from your companion. So that's what Fern is going to have to do, but that takes an hour. But first off, we've got this person who is in the sack, who is writhing around that Fern has just landed on. But first off, Fern goes, checks on Wolf, sees that Wolf is okay, and then Fern, so this will be a short session I'm predicting, based on how I'm talking and how I feel as I'm talking. So Fern is going to check on Wolf. Wolf is all right. Fern needs to heal, which will take an hour. It's the evening. Fern's going to have to sleep. But first off, let's go check on our keeper. Now, I was thinking about the keeper, and I was thinking about how we could make the keeper quite interesting. And I would like to make the keeper something, possibly a ribbit, because that means I can do a ribbit. That means I can do a ribbit voice, just like, what was his name? Salamarak. Ribbit. I could do a Salamarak, basically, which might be quite interesting. So let's say that, Fern is going to open up the bag and release the person who's been gagged. How would a construct gag someone? I don't know, big hands. Has been maybe something's just been shoved in the ribbit's mouth. And it's a little ribbit wearing robes, hooded robes. They're all really scuffled up. Does a ribbit, let's describe, what does ribbit? Resemble anthropomorphic frogs with protruding eyes. Yep. What do they mainly wear? Some ribbits have hind legs more than twice the length of their torso. No matter their size, they range from about, so this is short in the sack, so 3 foot or so. Hops around, he grabs Fern, gives Fern a hug. Thank you so much. That construct came in and just just grabbed me, bundled me into this sack and threw me in the corner. Swim with ease. Some possess natural green-brown camouflage. This is vibrantly coloured then. All purple and yellow strikes across it. They live for about 100 years old. It's an old ribbit. Long tongue, wasn't much use to it. Thank you so much. I was in that sack for I don't know how long. The fire's gone out. We must rescue the fire. So I think that would be the ribbit's first priority would be the fire. So what we need to work out is, so there's several bits that we need to work out that I've written down. So we do need to heal ourselves. Yes, so that's definitely going to have to happen. The fire needs to be restarted. As I just said, I know the fire needs to be restarted. You must restart it. So we need to work out why. Why? So obviously due to the rolls, there are constructs now. So we can say that constructs we have basically rolled because of the job, which was there's a construct wandering around the Sablewood that Fern needs to deal with. But we've also got the constructs that we hear. I can hear the echoes because there's hardly any stuff in here anymore. The constructs are going to be one of our main enemies, I think, for at least this first arc of our story. We can use constructs a lot. Now, what the thing then is why are the constructs? Who's driving the constructs? So we could imagine there's magic. There's probably something magic based because magic would create the constructs. Or there's something left over from the gods, the fallen gods, because that gets mentioned quite a bit in the Sablewood location. And it's also part of that underlying core within the Daggerheart sort of general background is the fallen gods, the forgotten gods. There was a big war between the gods, and the outcome we don't know, but there are traces left behind. So it could be one of those two things. Either somebody's creating it, which does give me that sort of Forbidden Lands history of the Ravenlands type feel to it, or there are some leftover gods. Now we don't have to necessarily decide that now, but definitely someone is sending these constructs out, and because of those rolls, somebody sent constructs out to attack at least this spire, which did have the clockwork around the outside from the description. So we need to work out why this is happening to then create the further part of our story and then further our story down. Now we don't have to decide right now the why. We don't have to create a big bad villain, but we might do because we've got the villain guide that I did last week before, a couple of weeks ago. Based on this, hold on. This is the 20th of September. So, beginning of September. That would have come out on the 3rd of September. How to run a villain. We could use that and create a villain to sit in the background of the arcing of this story, which we might do in next week or the week after. We might create a villain and imagine what that villain might be and what their overall story and their overall goal might be. And we can drive that villain in the background of our story and have that villain interact with what Fern's doing. That might be an idea. But at the moment, we really want to start thinking about why. Why have we got these constructs appearing? Who has sent those constructs and what's going on? We've got 4 fear, and I was also thinking about the 4 fear and what we should do with that. Now, if we're going to play this fair into the story, and so my next how-to, which will be coming out at the beginning of October, is going to be all about staying true to the story or serving the story, which means you don't necessarily serve your character. We don't necessarily serve Fern. We serve the story. In serving the story in this fear, I would make something ambush Fern, because I can do that. As a DM, as a GM of Daggerheart, you can spend your fear to drive the story in the path that you want the story to go in. So we've got a 4 fear here, and in a minute we're going to do a rest, at least a short rest, which means we'll generate even more fear. We're going to have a massive pool of fear to spend. And so driving that story forwards in the way we want it to is a good way of using that fear. And you can do that as a solo player. You don't have to always serve the hero. You can serve the story, which means that you're driving a good story home. So, why is something we need to have in the back of our heads. We don't need to solve that problem now, and we could solve that problem by generating a villain to drive, like an overall arcing villain who's trying to do something. I mentioned it in Solo in Sablewood, having a villain like some demon that's awakening, or an old god, or a minor god. We might do something like that. That might be quite fun. So, this is all the exposition that's going through Fern's head at the moment, thinking, why is this going on? What's happening? As the Ribbit says, as I was saying, as you drifted off into some little world of your own, the fire needs to be relit. Your wolf's quite injured, isn't he? Right, let me work out how we need to relight this fire. So, the Ribbit will do some exposition and some talking, and will give Fern a chance to rest. So Fern can do their 1 hour resting move. Short rest. Fern is going to take a short rest. Now Fern's really quite injured. Fern has only 2 hit points left out of 6, so Fern really needs to tend to their wounds. Also, Fern is on half stress, and we want to deal with wolf stress. So even though Fern's got armour that needs repairing, Fern is going to first play with, basically going to tassel Wolf's hair, make sure Wolf's okay, stroke Wolf, clean up Wolf's wounds, which basically is going to clear Fern's stress in being that bond that Fern has with Wolf, but also then in turn will clear Wolf's stress. Now how we do that is we simply roll a d4 and we add 1, because Fern is tier 1, which gives us 4, which clears all of Fern's stress and all of Wolf's stress. So both of them are all right. So Wolf is on tip-top form, and Fern has no stress left. And we also, do we get any? No, we only get hope if we prepare. But also we're going to deal with Fern's hit points, and so the keeper. Let's give what are some Ribbit's names? Do we have an example of any Ribbit names? No, we don't have an example of any Ribbit names. Not in. So I'm only using the SRD as discussed. Brad mentioned it. We're only using the SRD because, as far as I can glean from the licensing that you would have seen at the beginning of this video, I have to use the SRD. I can't use the core book. The core book's also in a box. I don't know why I'm pointing that way. It's on a ship. The core book might have names in. I don't know. So let's call our keeper. What will our keeper's name be? I bought Bead Nova. Bead Nova. A keeper, Bead Nova. Sounds all right, doesn't it? Bead Nova. I got some PAX badges, some PAX pins, and the backs of the pins were gone. And so as they wouldn't come off or get lost, I got some of those ones that you can lock in from a company called Bead Nova, which isn't an advert because they're not giving me any money. So what I will do is come here, you young fawn. I will tend to you whilst I tell you what's going on. So Bead Nova will tend to young Fern's wounds. That is the tend to wounds move for a short rest. You can take 2 moves in a short rest. You can tend wounds, relieve stress, repair armor, or prepare. They all give you slight advantages. And at that point, the GM, us, we will add D4 fear into our fear pool. Well, up to 3, because I've only got 3 of those counters left. So Bead Nova will... Hello, my name is Bead Nova. Just so as you know. We'll tend to the wounds, healing another 4 points. That's cool. That's all of Fern's hit points are restored. So Fern's hit points, so Fern is on 4 hit points, full stress, no hope, and Fern's leather armour is a bit battered and bruised and looks like it's torn in some places, i.e. it's taken 1 armour slot. So, how are we going to work out what's going on with this fire? Now we do have in Solo in Sablewood a section on the spires, which is in here. It's all alphabetically ordered. So we know what our form and the presence of the spire is. Why is the spire in trouble? As the flame has gone out, you'll need to work out why. This could have a simple answer. Right, the keeper has got no. So we know why. Now, how do we relight a fire? Is it just simple or is it magic? We could ask, okay, what we're going to do is we are going to ask our oracle, is it simple to just relight the fire, or do we have to do something special? And in which case we will generate a sort of a job, a thing that we have to do. We might use the job generation process from Hush, and then the keeper can give us a job to go and do this thing, and we will do that thing, and then that brings back something that will light the fire. That seems adventurous, although we will need a night's rest most likely. So, using the yes/no, so the closed question oracle. We have closed questions and open questions with oracles. I mean, if you know all this stuff, I do apologise. But anyway, if you don't, it's some information for you. A closed question oracle is a question which has a very restricted answer pattern, i.e. yes or no. And you can have some complications to give you fine grain, but basically it's a yes or no answer. It's a closed question. An open question is the one that we would use prompts, thematic or verbs or nouns, because it's more open. What is in the box? What is in the bag? What is the weather like today? What is the weather like today is an open question. Is it raining is a closed question. So we want, is this, is it simple to light the fire? That is a boring answer. Yes to that is boring. So we want, do we need something special to light the fire? And I think it's very likely. Likely is 8 or higher. A 6, there we go, no. But, so no, we don't need something special to light the fire, but it's not as easy as that. So that is how we would use our closed question oracle. We say it's not as easy to light that. So it doesn't need magic or anything like that, but it's not as easy. So we will generate a job. We will generate a quick little job that using the Hush guide, and this is what Bead Nova is going to ask Fern to do. Who needs the job? We don't need to do that bit because we know that is the keeper. What is needed? A D8. That is a 5. A 5 is guard. Guard doesn't make sense. A 4 is hunt. Okay, hunt. Hybrids, animals, intruders. We need to hunt for something. So that is a hunt table. We'll roll on the hunt table, which is a D6. A 6, a location. Bring back information on a location is easy, but what if you're sent there for another reason? Do you know why it's there? Okay, so hunt in a location. So to hunt in a location might be, so we do have collect or recover was a different one, but to hunt down something in a location. Let's say, let's roll. Also, let's go to our heart guide. So we're hunting in a location. Let's go to the nouns within our heart guide, and we are going to have a look on the nouns in our heart guide and see what we get. So we get a 16, the hollow, empty places, lost people, spiritual voids. All right, because this might create a chain. There was a pause there because I was thinking. So what we're going to have is that Bead Nova, the keeper, so we've got hunt, location, and the hollow. How about to light the fire? We need a special flint, which can only be got. So we've got hunt for location at the hollow, and so when we've got the hollow, so from the heart guide. Empty places, lost people, spiritual voids at the hollow. Something spiritual void. I'm going to roll again on the verb and see if I can get some more advice on spiritual void. 14, invoke. invoke his call. So we are going to say that there is a place. So Bead Nova, let me draw you a little map. What I need you to do, I can't leave the spire, but my special flint. Sometimes I would say, let me give you advice. Sometimes I will say that if you're not too sure what to do next, roll some verbs or something and just start talking or thinking and just go with the flow and see what your brain comes up with. A special flint. I need to light the fire and mine's gone, it's worn out. I used the last of it to light this fire several moons ago, and I lent the little nub that was left to a friend of mine. They have gone. They live in the hollow. Which is I draw you a map to show you how to get to the hollow. Draws a map. It's like a short journey. We'll do a normal roll to get there. If you could go, you will need to call them because they are one of the spirit folk. What does one of the spirit folk mean? I don't know. We'll look that up. We'll make that up as we go along. So you must say these words. Let's say it's a poem. And then we can make up we can do a Quackbane. I've not made up a poem song in ages like Quackbane does. I miss Quackbane. So, or maybe like it's a spirit, like a will-o'-the-wisp type spirit. We'll invoke spirit. And then we can decide if that spirit is going to want Fern to do something else to get this flint, or something else is going to happen. But I do think that what we would do is spend this in having that construct ambush Fern, which reminds me I need to roll a d4. We get 1, thank goodness for that. So there's 5 fear in the fear pool at the moment, which we'll have to write down at the end of the session. Alright, so that is what we have. We have Bead Nova has tended to Fern's wounds. Wolf has, so Fern, there was that little chair next to the table that we described when Fern came up into the room. Fern's sitting there. Bead Nova is cleaning wounds and tending to Fern, drawing Fern a little map to show where Fern needs to go. It's getting dark. We can see out the window it's getting dark. The fire isn't lit, so we need to get this soon. Fern is going to say, can Fern rest? If Fern rests, do we have an advantage if Fern rests? I don't think so. Where's me? Piece of paper. Long rest. 10 to all wounds. No, we haven't got any stress. We haven't got any wounds. We could repair armor. We could prepare, and we could get hope. But in flip, we get more fear. So possibly, we will have Bead Nova will say that. Now we could just have. We could have Fern. We could spend some of this, and have that construct ambush Fern and have another battle, and we could play through. I mean, the more we do battles, the more used to the combat system and the faster we'll be with it. So that is a bonus. But I am feeling peaky, which might not be a bonus. But we could just go through and do the battle, or we could end this session with that, and we'll start next session with Fern getting attacked by the construct, because we've worked out what needs to happen now. As far as I think, it's very likely that Bead Nova is going to say, "You need to go now. The fire's not lit. If the fire's not lit, this area isn't defended." And then defended from what? I mean, we're moving the story forward. The story is moving forwards. We know that these constructs are coming out. We know, because of what I just said, that the spires are defending the Sablewood from something. There's a spirit folk who are linked to the defending because they have the flint to help us light the fires. And we could possibly have some of the other spires are being attacked by these constructs that we then need to defend. So let's say, I think it's very likely, which is 14, that's not very unlikely. Very likely is 6s or above. It's very likely that Ribbit is going to say that Fern needs to go now. 16 and a 1. Yes, Fern needs to go now. But Ribbit can give, Bead Nova can give Fern something to help. Maybe Bead Nova will give Fern something to help. Fern used the health potion in that fight, so maybe as a reward, we are going to give Fern a potion to take with them. Let's make Fern. Fern is going to make, so Bead Nova will definitely give Fern a healing potion. So Fern can have a minor healing potion. And then as a player, we would then of course say, what would you say if you were playing? You would say, has he got anything else? Is there anything else? And so as the DM, we're going to say, all right, make a presence roll, a charm roll, and we can see if, and that gives us some, we haven't rolled duality dice this game, and then we can see if Fern can charm Bead Nova and get something else, and we will do a roll on the consumables table, common or uncommon, and see what we come out with. So let's see. What shall we give the difficulty of this as? Now, Fern did save Bead Nova, so that is so charm. Win the trust of a friendly stranger. Win the trust of a friendly stranger. That is a 10. So we've got win the trust of a friendly stranger. We haven't got any hope to spend, otherwise we could use the experience, loyal and debt. So Fern has a -1 for presence, which means Fern needs to roll 11s. If we roll a fear, if we roll with fear, what are we going to do? What is a possible rolling with fear move that we could do in this GM move? Show how the world works. Ask a question. Oh yeah, all right. We will do. If the fear comes up, roll with fear. Make a move when we roll with fear. So if we roll with fear, we can interrupt the player moves to make a move. Make an issue, spotlight an additional adversary. So what we might do is do one of the outside bits and just show something else going on and the world going difficult. Or we could increase the job, which is that construct will attack. So rolling, aiming for a 10, we need to roll 11s. What do we get? We've got a 10 on fear dice. What is this? Oh, I can't see it. It's because this tripod. I don't want to change it. It's a 1. Okay. We've got the 11. We've got the 11 that we need, but we rolled with fear. And so because we rolled with fear, we've got the 11 that we need. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because -1 is 10, which is a hit. So we've got a success, but with fear, which means that we do get to roll on the consumables table, but we can either increase the construct job, or we can have something else happen. So what shall we have happen outside? Let's roll against it. So I reckon another spire being attacked. Another spire gets attacked, which means that there is something big going on and there is a big bad. Is another spire being attacked 50-50? No, it's not. But there are a collection of, but the constructs are building up to attack it. So one isn't being attacked, but it will be attacked next game. Okay, I know what we can do. We will see another light go down. So as a GM move, what we're going to do is we're going to describe to the players ourselves a collection of D4 plus 1. Oh, that's going to be D2 plus 1. D2 plus 1 of 2. So there are 2 constructs, not including our one that's wandering around, ploughing through the forest towards a spire. We are giving the players this information ourselves to give that momentum of movement, and we will create. Shall we just create a... But no, we will, because we can burn this, and we can burn this to change the story and say that we see the spire going, and then Fern needs to make a decision. Does Fern go off to protect that spire, or does Fern... Which delays getting the flint to light the clockwork spire, or does Fern go and get the clockwork spire? So we've got 2 constructs moving their way towards that spire. 2 constructs will be difficult. Constructs are solos, which means Fern may not be able to take on 2 constructs, but we can then manipulate that story by that we could downgrade both of those constructs from being solos to being just standards instead. But Fern, let me offer you this before I send you off into the woods. And we will roll on the consumables table. Uncommon, we've got 2d12 or 3d12. Have I got a third d12 here? No, that's weird. I've only got these 2d12. All right. Maybe we'll roll another one. So what we've got? We've got a 14. Improved Griddletooth Venom. You can apply that. No, let's roll another one. So 14 plus. 14 plus 9 is 23. What does 23 give us? Replication parchment. By touching this parchment to another, you can perfect copy of the second parchment contents. No. None of those are really going to help us. Griddletooth Venom. Improved Griddletooth Venom. You can apply this venom to a weapon that deals physical damage to add a d8 to your next damage roll with that weapon. All right, let's take that. We are going to go,
this might help you. I have some venom that you can put onto your arrows. That might help you defeat villains.
Improved. So how much using the consumable doesn't require a roll unless generated by... You can hold up to 5 of each consumable at a time. All right, so let's do a D5, which would be that, divided by 2. And we'll just do that. That's what it is. That's 1. All right, there's one dose of improved Griddlewood Venom. Griddletooth. Apply this venom to a weapon that deals physical damage to add d8 to your next damage roll with that weapon. We'll basically count it as it's on Fern's arrows. The next arrow that Fern uses that hits, they can roll the d8, and then we'll imagine that it's all worn off the other arrows. All right, so Fern is going to. So Fern has rested.
Here, take some food.
Fern will get fed, and then Fern is going to set off, following the map towards the hollow where the spirit folk are, to say the poem that will invoke the spirit. But we will show Fern a spire being attacked, or Fern will come across the constructs moving through the forest towards the spire, and then Fern can knock around with those. Although we do have this that we can then spend to attack Fern. So at this point, so next session, we have 5 fear. 1, 2, 3, 5 fear. We can attack Fern with a construct. Fern can see the constructs moving towards the 2 constructs moving towards the spire, but we need to downgrade. So there are instructions within the SRD, I do believe, to how to we can change them, but I thought there were instructions on how to downgrade. Give me a second. I'll have a look later. But I thought there was instructions on how to downgrade a villain. If there is, then we will downgrade those 2 constructs to standard, not solos. Or we might just try. We might try making standard constructs and just see how that goes. So we've got 2 things. Fern being attacked by the construct, Fern going to that, and Fern needs to go to hollows. Not the hollows, Roots Hollow, the place, but this hollow in the woods. All right, I think we've got that, and that then moves our story forward. So we leave Fern coming out of the doors of the Clockwork Spire with Bead Nova staring down, saying to himself,
I hope that they find what they're looking for and they hurry back.
Turning back to the fire, which is now sort of getting cold,
as that fire has not been out for many, many years. And that makes me worry.
And then we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber and you came here because of Daggerheart, Do consider subscribing. I will do more Daggerheart as we continue, but I also play other games which might widen your, I mean, I assume that you've played other games, but if you haven't, then there's plenty to choose from. So far this year I have played, I think it's 15 or 16 different systems so far, up until this point. And there are some others that are going to come before the end of the year, which are small, easy ones to do. I'm not going to be able to do the ones I was planning on because it's all in boxes. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild for all your support. The Adventurers Guild supports the production of these videos financially to help me basically be able to keep doing this. Now, if you would like to support, you could join the Adventurers Guild. There are 2 tiers. Superfan Thank You, which is a support tier, which I'm very, very grateful for your support. And then there's the Early Doors. The Early Doors gets access to special members' videos and gets these videos early. You can also support, I have a Patreon that you could go to support. That helps production of the books. It's a very low price for that. If you'd like to give me extra money, that would be cool. There's Superfan Thank Yous and there's also coffee thank yous if you'd like to support the channel that way. Or you could just subscribe, do comments, put the thumbs up, all that stuff, which lets the algorithm know that this has been watched and pushes out to other people. And I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I very much do appreciate. I will see you next week for more Daggerheart. Bye.